porn star, the playmate, and the president. As reports emerged that Stormy Daniels passed a lie detector test, a Playboy model sues to break her silence. Are they the biggest threats to Trump's presidency? Smearing Cynthia? After Sex and the City's Cynthia Nixon announces she's running for governor, one politician slams her as an unqualified lesbian. And think the woman who wrote the book on being a tiger mom is fierce about parenting?
1, schoolwork always comes first. 2, an A- is a bad grade.
Wait till Amy Chua tears into American politics. Let's go! Hump Day Hot Topics are here with Whoopi, Sara Haines, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
Snowy day.
Yeah.
And thanks for standing out in that snow coming to see us. We love that.
It's actually a very stormy day. Get it?
Ah, yes.
Very yes.
But we're coming to that. But first this. The Russian government is under suspicion for meddling in our election. I thought they proved that they had done it.
They did prove
okay,
it.
sorry. Among many other shady things, but it didn't stop the White House resident from personally calling the president, Mr. Putin, to congratulate him on winning the election. Apparently, his own people said, look, D, don't do this. Don't call and congratulate him.
Yeah.
But what did the new guy do?
In capital letters.
What did the new guy do?
Hello?
Called him up. Say, yo, P. Congrats, yo.
Yeah.
Does anybody think it's odd?
I thought it.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
No.
I thought it was odd because I don't know if this is the norm to do this. But what bothered me is on the heels of what happened with Theresa May in the UK and the spies that were poisoned. Right now, she's been going so hard trying to get allies to help her and to stand up against Russia. So I find it was really an insult to an ally that's saying right now, we need you. And then he, meanwhile, is calling up an adversary. So I just found that was probably the most insulting part.
Well, you know, I was wondering if one of Putin's henchmen didn't pick up the phone and say, listen, bro, you better call the boss or else. Because they have so much on him, it looks like. He's so guilty. Well, they have something on this guy that's going to explode very soon. And I truthfully think Donald Trump is petrified. He's afraid of Putin. He's afraid of Mueller. He's afraid of Stormy. He's afraid of everybody.
Well, maybe he's not afraid and he should be.
But I think that, I was actually offended also, of course, because of what happened in the UK and that he didn't come out against it. But, you know, a lot of times our presidents do call Putin to congratulate him on the election. I know that Obama did it.
Well, that was before
Bush
the
did it as
hacking.
well.
That was before the hacking.
And that's the distinction, because even though other presidents have called, why would this president call to congratulate him on you know, an election that clearly was fixed and rigged when they messed with our very own democracy?
Which our election was clearly fixed and rigged also, apparently.
Well, I don't think our election was fixed and rigged, but the influence of Russians is something that is undeniable at this point. I will say, above all else in my life and ideology, I'm a foreign policy hawk. It's the #1 way that I vote. And going from way back to 2012, when President Obama was caught on a live mic with President Medvedev saying he was going to have, quote, more flexibility after the Russian election, he made fun of Mitt Romney, saying that it was a, quote, 1980s are calling for their foreign policy back because the Cold War has been over, when Romney brought up how intense of an issue Russia and Putin would be going forward. I think one thing that I never understand is why there isn't more coverage of what's going on in Syria and chemical gassing of young people, young children. It's the largest refugee crisis since World War II. It was aided and abetted by Putin. Assad was and his team of
another reason
Syrian
not
army.
to congratulate
yes,
them.
I agree, but I'm just saying this is raging out of control. The Syrian army had actually started losing, and the rebels started winning.
Right.
And the reason why it raged into the place that it's at is because directly from Putin, aiding and abetting Assad.
Why is Trump sticking up for him so much? Why is he
I never
so
understood why
in bed with
anyone
him?
normalized any of this. And I think there's lots of different theories, but I will say we should pay more attention to what's going on in Ukraine. We should pay more attention to what's going on in the Baltic states, because Putin has a bloodlust for 1980s Mother Russia, Soviet Union. He will do anything and everything to exterminate our values here in the West. And the idea that we have anyone calling anyone, I'm heartbroken by the fact that Angela Merkel called and congratulated him. We, as G7 countries, she did too. We have to get together. Exactly.
But Bush did it too.
Well,
I mean,
but here's
there's
the
a
thing.
history of doing it.
Yes, Bush did do it, and that's important. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Whoopi. But the blood is on everyone's hands.
Yeah.
And you're 100% accurate on that. Bush, Obama, now Trump, and Trump is to a point that you're making. I think it's actually exponentially worse at this point because his language is so bizarre.
Part of it also is that. Part of it also is that when you are knee-deep in poop, you don't want to seem like you're wallowing in it. So his fingerprints are all over Russia.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
Trump.
His fingerprints are all over Russia. So if you know, and you keep saying there's nothing wrong,
Yeah.
you keep saying nothing's wrong, you have to figure out how you want to play this, because this looks not good for you. And I have to say, I do believe that the last 3 presidents that called Putin had all felt that they were going to be able to find a way to dial it back to see if we could work together.
Yes.
That to me is, that's why people try, because nobody wants war. Nobody wants a war.
Diplomacy.
So they're trying to figure it out. But we don't have any diplomats. We don't have anybody sitting anywhere. Nobody's listening to anything. It's just freaky. It's just freaky. And he's not the only, but Putin's not the only relationship he needs to be worried about right now.
Oh, God.
Stormy Monday. That's good for you.
You love the stormy stuff.
Stormy is like the Norma Ray of the porn industry.
Joy loves this stormy
So
stuff.
Stormy Daniels' lawyer, not Stormy Daniels, but her lawyer, will be here on Monday.
Yes, he
Now,
will.
reportedly, for the transcript of the lie detector test that Stormy passed, former Playmate Karen McDougal is suing so she can break her silence about their alleged affair, and the defamation suit filed by Apprentice contestant Summer Zervos, who claims that he kissed and groped her, was just okayed by a judge. So who should he be most worried about?
No. Oh. It's a trifecta.
I still think...
He's got them all coming
What's
out.
the most legally powerful one, Sunny?
I'm very interested in the defamation claim, because
and clarify which one that is.
that I think is Summer. Isn't that Summer?
Yes.
Players straight.
So she's saying, we had this affair, and he's called her a liar. So now she's suing him for defamation. And when you sue someone for defamation, their only defense is that it isn't true. So now we get to find out all the parameters of their relationship.
So it undoes the arrangement if he's calling her a liar.
Or, I'm sorry, she's claiming groping and kissing.
Right.
But there's a whole batch of them. What are there, 10, 12? How many? I've lost track.
Over 16.
And he called them all liars, too.
Yeah.
So
They could
can
all
they
bring
sue for
defamation
defamation?
cases. They
And so
could.
what happens then if they
It plays
prove
out. Of course.
defamation?
Well, if they prove it, then we all know that they had these affairs, and we also get to know, I think, the financial arrangements. And if he did this all with campaign, money, I think he would have violated the law.
Well, that's the only. Sorry, Megan.
Yeah, go ahead.
The only link I was trying to make is we all, as Megan I think was saying, we all pretty much know he did, most likely did these things.
Right.
So that's not shocking.
Yeah.
Where is the kicker? Is it if it links to campaign? If it links to the...
I
Okay.
think campaign finance.
And the hush money, too.
Remember John Edwards?
But hush money
it's one of the things
does
that
that
took him
make
out
it
of the
bad?
political
I would
scene.
think hush money is illegal also in a campaign, right?
I mean, listen,
Depends on where the funds came
it's not
from.
that I'm not interested. I mean, I'm just, again, like we talked about, yes, more than likely he slept with these women and paid them off.
Right.
Great. I'm more petrified at the idea that we have Sarah Huckabee Sanders going on TV who won't answer whether or not the Russian elections were free and fair.
Right.
That is what's getting me petrified, what's going on foreign policy-wise. And it's not that it's not, I understand why people are interested. I get it, but we are talking about our president possibly having negotiations with Kim Jong-un, and apparently he can't even read a note card enough to say, don't congratulate Putin. We're talking about a hypothetical situation of nuclear war. I'm sorry if I can't get all spun up on these, on a porn.
Well, I don't think it's getting spun up. I think what it is it's like a giant pie. It's a poo pie.
A poo pie.
Oh my God.
It's a poo pie. And, you know, where do you cut first?
Yeah.
You know, is it Stormy? Is it I mean, because no matter where you do it, it's going to be a mess.
But I also think to make...
Wait,
oh, God.
we gotta go. Yeah,
Okay,
got to go.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Still ahead, Melania's mixed message. Why even the First Lady sees the irony of taking on cyberbullying when her husband's infamous for his Twitter tirades. What's the one daytime show unafraid to tell it like it is?
What's the name of the show again? The View. Oh, that's right. Welcome to The View, everybody.
Passion.
If people don't understand your dream, the dream's not for them, it's for you.
Yeah.
We bring the OMG.
You were in danger, girl.
No, you're in danger, girl.
We talk it all and keep it real.
That's what The View does.
That's right. Only on ABC.
Welcome back. You know, I think over this last year, tried to really be understanding. Really, is your phone ringing?
Seriously,
Yeah,
Joy.
it was off. It was off. I'm sorry. Move on. Forget it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It wasn't Call Me Baby, though.
No, call me maybe.
Maybe.
No.
She changed her ringer.
Yes, we're live. You know, we've all tried to really sort of be thoughtful about the First Lady, because we know it's a very difficult job. But she's now the spokesperson. She's taken this on as First Lady, as being the spokesperson to stop cyberbullying, which we thought was interesting. Take a look.
I'm well aware that people are skeptical of me discussing this topic. I have been criticized for many commitment to tackling this issue, and I know that will continue. But it will not stop me from doing what I know is right. I'm here with one goal: helping children and our next generation.
So people are saying, well, what about the guy you're married to in terms of cyberbullying?
Yes.
But we have maybe some different ways of looking at it that other people may not have thought of.
I don't think the irony's lost on her. I think she's using her voice specifically for that cause, for a reason. You, if it were my husband, you can't trash him on a show and say, you're right, he's such a jerk, and then go home and, like, she chose him. This is her person, and she's doing this, and I think we should always applaud action taking for something good. Unless you believe in cyberbullying, you really shouldn't criticize someone that's saying, I'm going to take my resources, my voice, and my platform and direct it towards our young people. I say bravo.
So yeah, I'm on the other side of that. I'm on the other side of it. I mean, I just don't think she's the right messenger for cyberbullying because she can't seem to control it in her own home. So that's a problem.
Can you control your husband?
Yes, I can.
I can't control my husband. Yes, I can. I can and I do.
Manny?
Oh, no.
You know, you're welcome to come here
He
anytime.
knows this truth.
Come on.
He knows
You
this
know.
truth. So, you know, she's the wrong messenger for cyberbullying, but she's the wrong messenger for everything almost because of his behavior. She can't be involved in the Me Too movement. She can't be involved in Let's Get Fit because the man ain't fit. So there are all these things that she can't be
How
involved.
about immigration?
She can't be involved in immigration.
Yeah.
So
She's an immigrant.
She's in a very difficult position.
Yeah.
But you know, he has, I think, ruined the Republican Party in the sense that the Republican Party was always the party of family values. And they talked about the sanctity of marriage. They talked about being faith-based. And that was an attractive message to me for many, many years. But now with Stormy and all this stuff, and the cyberbullying, this is no longer the Republican party of family values. And I think that's why people should care care about Stormy. That's why people should care about all these accusers. That's why people should care about the cyberbullying.
Well, I will say that Donald Trump can't destroy it because there are still people like me and lots of really amazing conservatives still out there that are fighting from the inside out. And as much as maybe he wants to destroy it, it's not going to happen. We're not turning into the party of Steve Bannon one way or the other. The one thing I want to say on the Melania Trump thing is that I had a journalist direct message me on Twitter like a month ago, and he had screenshot a tweet my husband sent out and said something like, "This is gross. How can you, what is this?" And I messaged him back and I go, I don't control my husband, and my husband doesn't control me, number one, okay? And I am a political analyst. He is a conservative political analyst. We view the world through, he's much more conservative than I am. We view the world through different places. Why can't we separate women from our husbands? Why can't I do my job and not have his crap on me and my crap on him? We're different people.
I agree completely.
And that's what I want with Melania. And it was
What are you saying about Melania?
I'm saying that she has the right to have her own voice and her own platform.
But she looks hypocritical, and we know that he's
But she called it out. She said you might be skeptical of this.
With all due respect, my husband's on television. Her husband's, when you are two public people, especially in politics, I would like the right to have my opinion separate from my husband's.
Well, she's doing that. She's doing that when she says, I'm doing it anyway.
We're not giving her a break right now.
Yeah, and I do too. My husband and I disagree on a lot of political things, and if you put us in a box, we fight our ways. One of us doesn't come out. Like, you know, like we're not agreeing on this stuff. So I don't want to be held.
This is a violent table. This is a violent table.
But I feel that, to me, I don't want everything my husband says, my family says, all disagreeing parties here, to be, I shouldn't be held accountable
Why did
for everything.
everyone hold Hillary Clinton responsible for Bill Clinton?
I didn't.
And that's what's fascinating about this whole
Because she was involved in his campaign. She nicknamed the women the bimbo eruptions. She was one of his top advisors.
Brought them to the debate with Hillary Clinton.
I thought that was great at the time.
So
but I'm just saying,
she has to be separate and apart.
If Ben and I were working on a campaign together in a partnership, that's an entirely different situation. I'm talking about our First Lady just trying to give her a little bit of a break, because God knows this woman is probably going through a hard time right now.
But
give her a break if she wants to try.
She's only the First Lady because she's married to the President of the United States. That's
But do you want her to sit there? She has a huge platform. Do you want her to sit there and say, because of this jerk, I'm going to sit here for 4 years and do nothing? That's not the type of woman I am.
I want to hear her
come out roaring, and
you know what she has said when she's been told about her husband's behavior online? She said, well, my husband's hit, he hits back. You know,
and I believe my husband.
And I believe my husband.
I believe my husband.
I'd like Melania to say, my platform is cyberbullying, and I'm talking to my husband about it because he's one of the biggest offenders.
Like the other 25 people that lasted 10 days if she spoke up.
Can I just say one thing about her? I can listen to this woman all day long. I love to listen to her. She's like Princess Diana. They put me in a hypnotic state when they talk.
Yeah.
Listen to her, the way she talks.
Cadence.
It's beautiful.
I get like hypnotized by her.
All right.
That's what Joy took from the conversation.
You know,
she's gorgeous. So.
Some good whiskey will do that, too. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Meg. Tell everybody.
Yes, just really quick, today is World Down Syndrome Day, and it's a day to advocate for the rights and opportunities of everyone with Down syndrome and all of the wonderful contributions they bring to our society.
And you know that this year's Gerber baby, I believe, is a baby with Down syndrome.
Right.
He's the cutest child. He's just wonderful. So, just know, we try to let you know what's going on in the world, that's all. Now, Sex and the City star Cynthia Nixon announced she's running for governor of New York. And former city council speaker Christine Quinn kind of called her an unqualified lesbian. Now, Quinn is also gay, noted that she didn't support her qualified lesbian when she ran for mayor in 2013. And the question, and we have to say that Christine clarified what she meant, but, you know, what's Les got to do with it?
Well, because back in the day, Cynthia said, but apart from that particular gay issue, meaning that she's a lesbian,
Right.
I don't see a lot of stuff where I line up with her. So she brought the gay thing into the conversation.
I see.
That's why Christine went back and said, well, I'm a qualified lesbian as opposed to you.
Right.
That's
But
it.
when it's read on its face without knowing the backstory, it sounds like you're sitting there going, well, I have a gay friend. Do you want to go out with them? Like, it's like the...
Well, I'm more concerned, quite frankly, on the unqualified portion of the statement, because just because you played a Harvard-educated lawyer on TV doesn't make you qualified to be the governor of New York. Like, I just don't understand it. Haven't we already seen how someone that's unqualified
he's
can't
opened the
govern
door
the United
to
States?
people thinking anybody can do the job.
Like, what makes
She's
Cynthia
very
Nixon
bright,
qualified?
Cynthia, and she's very political.
But she's
and
not governor.
she was very, very instrumental in getting Bill de Blasio elected mayor of New York City. She's not stupid.
For that
believe
reason
me.
alone,
Yeah, I got a couple of issues with that.
But has she ever governed anything?
Well, it's also, Sunny is saying, as someone who actually went to law school, it's not the same thing as playing one on TV.
Well, what I'd like to hear, I'll tell you what you could do. I'd like to hear you explain why we have 900 places you can get bicycles like this. They put those bicycle things up in 14 minutes. But you can't find time or money to clear out the mold in the project. See, I hold everybody accountable. See, that's what I want to hear from somebody who wants to run the state, this state, or this city. Why can you put up all these bicycle things and you can't spend 2 cents to get that mold out of these buildings? You know, for me, you know, I have an issue because they're now also trying to say that, oh, if you live in New York, if you come into New York City, you should have to pay some money because you came into the city. They call it congestion tax.
Right.
But they have congested the streets themselves.
Well, you know,
They did all of that. So I think it's a setup.
But, you know, but what you're saying is interesting because we hear about Donald Trump wanting to have a military parade, which will cost $30 million or something. He wants to build a wall, which will cost millions and millions. And yet Puerto Rico is still in the dark. A lot of parts of it.
6 months.
People are suffering all over this country, and nothing is done. So the priorities are screwed up, and that's what you're describing on a smaller level.
In part, you know, but to me, New York City has always been a great city. It's always been a great city. I grew up, as you did, in the projects. The projects I grew up with, that would have never helped. The state of New York gave the money to the city of New York, and the city of New York, I don't know where the money went, but I'm a little pissed about it because this is basically saying to people, we don't care. And this is New York City, and we do care. So, Mayor Bill de Blasio, you need to stop thinking about all this other stuff. Cynthia, you need to stop thinking about all this other stuff and help us figure out how to get the mold out of the projects. We'll be right back.
There you go.
Another thing. Housing Secretary Dr. Ben Carson may not be welcome in his own house right now, given his excuse for spending a fortune on office furniture. Please take a look.
You know, I left it with my wife. I said, you know, help choose something. But I said, the money that is going to be used, we need to take care of the Deputy Secretary's office. And, you know, whatever's left over, you know, take care of the dining room furniture. The next thing that I quite frankly heard about it was that this $31,000 table had been bought. I said, what the heck is that all about?
We just discovered something. We want to rewind that, please, because I believe
someone's asleep.
Someone's asleep in the back. We think.
There she goes. There she goes.
See that girl on the bottom left right there?
There she is.
There she goes.
Oh my God.
There she goes. Maybe she's taking notes. Maybe she's taking notes.
He's a big
Nothing
store.
makes me happier than staffers sleeping behind these things. It's so
Maybe she's
funny.
looking down taking notes?
No, that's not what's going on.
No, you're saying there's a head bob when it comes back up. I know that from math.
But I mean, The explanation was putting me to sleep. But he literally just threw his wife under the table.
Yeah.
If you're Candy Carson, how do you handle this?
Well, he better save some money for the couch because that's what he's going to be
I know, Sonny, clearly she does not control her husband.
She does not control. She does not control.
I would kill him.
He just really blamed it on her.
What if it's true? What if he said, honey, you handle it, and then she didn't know any better, and she just picked the
Has she
dining room
shopped
table?
before? When you put it in the cart and it says $31,000, I'm like, oh, no.
You know, she's a lousy shopper. I go to yard sales. Believe me, I could do a much better job with her. Come with me shopping, Mrs. Carson. I'll show you how to buy furniture.
It's not just that. It's like you're a unit together. You're a political couple. You're a team.
But
like,
apparently
come on,
not.
Like, you're going to throw her under the bus.
That's because she doesn't control him and he doesn't control her. That's what happens when people are
He'd be housing secretary.
He's the housing secretary.
Yeah, he needs to learn how to decorate a house.
As I've mentioned before, you know, Dr. and Mrs. Carson were so lovely to Manny and I when he was at Hopkins Medical School, and they invited us into their home.
How much was the table worth?
Yeah, I was like, was it nice?
Their home was modest. It was beautiful, but it was modest. I still find it hard to believe that Mrs. Carson knowingly decided to purchase a $31,000.
But everyone in the Trump administration is spending money like crazy. They're spending money on travel, furniture, what have you. That's what they're doing.
So out of
Because of their leader sets the tone.
She sits in the corner and she knits all the time.
Yeah, but one word for Candy, IKEA. Like if you're trying to save in an economy, just get an IKEA table and call it a day and send that money to somewhere else.
They should be one of our sponsors.
Oh, sorry.
Well, we love
we love IKEA.
We love IKEA. Yeah. We just want them to use it. We want them to get IKEA. Look, whoever's fault it is, $31,000. You can read a price tag. Yeah, everyone can read a price tag, and if you look and it says 31,000, you have to kind of go, well, hey, maybe that's not the smartest thing for me to do.
Was it just the table or chairs
No,
too?
I think it was all a part. She said you cannot find a decent chair for less than $5,000, which is ridiculous.
I can't get over that staff member because now she's like, God, I'm outed on the View. We're sleeping behind right there.
Well, let's do this. Let's see what happens when the tape continues to roll.
Her head pops up.
Her head pops up. Okay, maybe she was just nodding.
No, here it goes. Here it goes.
There we go.
It's getting interesting. Oh, here it comes.
And I have to say,
maybe
she looks a lot like him.
Maybe
because he looks like this too.
Well, maybe she was just taking notes, but
no, that was one of those.
Whatever it was, we got to go.
Next, the Tiger Mom tears into Hot Topics. What's Amy Chua's proof that her tough parenting works? And why does she say liberals got Donald Trump elected president? She's hitting the table right after this. Speak your mind fearlessly. Hold nothing back. That's what these women do.
We seem to demonize each other so much. And John McCain had a cancer diagnosis and came back to the Senate floor in a powerful moment. And I crossed the aisle and hugged John McCain.
I feel that I should hug a Republican today.
I think that...
There's one right here.
And that's why the hottest political exclusives happen here.
If you're a Republican and you want to make news, come on this show.
Thank you. It's all happening right here on The View.
Yale law professor Amy Chua became a pop culture phenomenon with her controversial best-selling manifesto, Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother. Now she set her sights on liberals and conservatives in her latest book, Political Tribes, Group Instinct, and the Fate of Nations. Please welcome Amy Chua. Joy and I both saw you on Bill Maher and wanted you to come on. So if
I'm
you can
surprised.
get both
That
of
was
us,
awful.
if you can get both of us interested in, your book is fascinating, and you say in the book that all humans are hardwired to be tribal. So can you explain what that means to us, specifically with American politics?
Great. So we are, as a species, we're biologically constructed to want to belong to tribes. We have to belong to groups. And once we connect to a group, it's almost like the effect is almost like a drug. That is, we want to cling to the group. We want to think it's better in every way. We want to defend it no matter what. And that's not always bad. You know, a group can be our family. I've seen the way you are with your family. I'm the same exact way. I'm very tribal, sports. But the problem is when tribalism takes over a political system, that becomes very dangerous because you start to see everything through your group's lens. And you don't even realize it. You're just stuck in there. And facts start to not matter, arguments. Even today, watching you guys, like, people don't realize, are we being consistent? Like, are we just mad about it when our side did it 2 years ago? You know, and it gets, the problem is that we have massive problems. Race, immigration, gun control, and we are getting nothing done. Because anytime anything happens, we immediately go into our tribal positions and we start attacking the other side. And the studies show that we actually, our brains go off. We get pleasure from taking down the other side. So I think a lot of times what we're doing is are we really trying to help America solve these problems, or do we just want to stick it to the other side and see them suffer? And I think that's part of the problem we're seeing right now.
It's interesting. It's possibly true. I'm not sure if I agree. So you identify as socially liberal, correct?
I actually am an independent. I'm way to the left on some things, way to the right on other things. I've always been an outsider.
You're pro-choice, I take it?
Yeah.
Pro-choice, pro-gay marriage?
Yeah.
So that's socially liberal.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I was raised Catholic.
Well, yeah, we all were, yeah.
Okay.
So, Amy, so also the other thing that's fascinating about you is you actually thought that Trump would win, unlike the rest of us who were in denial, like me.
Yeah. I got that right. You know? And it's interesting. So I teach on one of the most liberal campuses, Yale Law School. I love my students, really the most liberal campus. And out of the 600 students, only one identified openly as a Trump supporter. And right there I knew something was wrong. Because nobody could talk. So from talking to people privately behind closed doors, it wasn't just that
So you think they were kidding them, lying?
No.
Right.
Many of them, even if they weren't themselves voting for Trump, it was their parents, their grandparents, their friends, their cousins. And so when you hear, oh, those ignorant, racist, stupid, big, it just didn't sit right. Forget the staff. Many. And more interestingly than that, it's not just white. America's a complicated place. I write about in this book, I have a student who's Mexican-American, whose his parents are undocumented. The mother voted for Donald Trump because of, why? Because of the prosperity gospel and religion. So I think we on the coast, I could see that we just don't understand a lot of the rest of America very well.
No.
And we don't see
things. We keep trying to understand them, though.
You guys are doing a great job.
We're trying, and I read your book, and I hope people will read it because it really is so fascinating, all the dynamics. But we are trying to understand the Trump voter, and you spent some time explaining identity politics. But I thought you missed the mark, and I told you this at the break, because when you're talking about white Trump supporters, you say things that like perception that whites are currently treated unfairly relative to minority appear to be an unusually strong predictor of support for Donald Trump in the general election. But then again, if you take an honest look at the welfare dependency, the drug and alcohol addiction, the family anarchy, that you see, it's mostly white. So why are whites, poor whites, why did they vote for a billionaire from New York in droves and blame really black people and people of color for their problems?
I actually agree with you. But my book is just different. I feel like there are people on both sides saying, you know, fighting already. My book is really about how did we get to this place where I think a lot of Americans hate where we are. There's so much acrimony. It's almost at the point where we see people who voted for the other side, not just as people we want to fight with, or like you guys sometimes fight, but literally as immoral, literally as our enemies, immoral people. And when you start to see half the country that way, and so by the way, for me, the book is more like, how can we overcome some of this and maybe get to the vision you want, you know? And by the way, you're right. Perception, you know, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I am semi-new on this show, and I think my mission is to try and explain Republicans, red state America to not just the show, but to the rest of the country as well. And I think you really nailed it when you're talking about how tribal we are, because I even find myself, like when Hillary Clinton just last week called voters backwards, said I could only have voted for Trump because my husband told me to. In my head, I was like, screw all Democrats who think this about me. You have no understanding of why Trump won. And it makes me feel tribal over my people, over my red states. So I think that's what you're trying to explain in the book. And I find myself, even as rational as I think I am, trying to act like that, or trying not to act like that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have that too. I mean, we're all, you know, I mean, it's just instinctive. And, you know, on that one, I just, again, trying to step back from either side. I think as soon as you find yourself talking about huge numbers of people, you know, yes, maybe you just hate this one leader. There's horribleness and there are awful groups, and we have to root those things out. But once you start talking about an entire town or an entire state or an entire swath of the country, and you're using big adjectives like ignorant, bigoted, fascist. I've studied, my field is actually ethnic conflict and prejudice. That is actually the definition of a stereotype or prejudice.
But you know,
when you don't, you don't know them. You've never met them.
But you know what, Hillary Clinton, to take her side for a second, I think she does not mean everybody when she speaks. But you have to admit that there are pockets on the right that are racist.
Completely.
And as she calls deplorable.
And
that's what she's talking about.
Yeah, you have to fight it tooth and nail.
She's talking, I mean, this book is fascinating. I loved it. I think you're a fascinating person. I'm so glad you came here. Our thanks to Amy Chua. Political Tribes is available now. Please go buy it. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Well, that was spirited. Y'all were having a spirited discussion.
What else do you want to tell Mayor de Blasio?
What else do I want to tell de Blasio? Remember, New York City is a city of a lot of different people. Some rich, some not rich, and we're all trying to make it here. It's one city. We're not a broken up city. We respect everybody around.
It's a great experiment.
That's right. Thanks for coming.
It works.
All of you. Thanks for watching, all of you.